Alrighty, what is going on, guys? So it's actually that time already again. We're talking about the new champion coming to the game, Invisible Woman. So before we get into anything, this is a content creator program video, what that means is that basically Kabam is temporarily granting me access to this champion early to make some gameplay for you guys, talk to you about her a little bit, let you know if you want to maybe go for an arena and buy some crystals, which I'm not telling you to. You take this video in whatever way you want and you make your own choices, which we all have the free will to do. But let's get into it. So real quick, her stats here. So base attack 1200, health pool 13k. Her crit rating is pretty good. Her crit damage rating is also pretty good. Block proficiency, it's alright. Definitely with the force field, it gets some other stuff in with some synergies, so not too bad here. So quickly, let's talk about the synergies, man, because Fantastic Four synergies so far have been extremely disappointing. She basically gets some block proficiency and some perfect block with the boys here, which nothing too crazy. Really disappointed so far with all the Fantastic Four synergies. I hope Mr. Fantastic brings some great stuff to the table. And this one, Till Death, I'm assuming that's with Mr. Fantastic, her husband, because, you know, when you get married, till death do you part. Basically, when the opponent activates a special attack, if the force field is active, it gains 10% strength for each bar of power spent. That sounds not good at all. So yeah, I really hope Mr. Fantastic has some stack synergies, man. And then an unfazed one here without Ghost, of course. It's called unfazed without Ghost. It makes sense. Just because she's probably too OP. And there's a mystery champion here. I'm betting this is Mysterio, if I had to guess. And then one with Namor, which says just friends, which is funny because his is a romance synergy. But let's get into her abilities. So I'm going to try to go through this quickly and just get through it fast, because I know a lot of people don't like when I talk too much at the start about all this. So we're going to go over the important things. I've already tried to record this part a couple times. So basically, signature ability, she does not need to be awakened at all to be played. Offensively, basically she starts to fight invisible, which can help if you're used to playing Ghost style. Passive, basically she's like Nightcrawler with a built-in dex, so you don't need to use the mastery. She has a perfect block chance at 20%. Now this part right here, we're going to come back to this in a second, but for each debuff from the opponent, Invisible Woman's attack deal an additional 4% damage as a burst of physical damage. That's very important. Like I said, we'll come back to it. Invisible Woman has a pre-fight ability. This is unlike Human Torch in the fact that she can activate it on every fight. It's basically a choice you get to choose. Basically, if you activate it, you're sacrificing some of your shield, your force field, for more attack. And if you don't turn it on, basically you just retain more of your force field. Like I said, if you put it on, you basically get attack, but you drain the force field faster. Simple as that. The force field, it starts with 1300 health. This is based on a 4-star, rank 5, Sig 99 champion. And again, this video is all based on a 4-star, so keep that in mind. And it does scale with boosts and nodes, which is interesting. Whenever Invisible Woman would take damage from, it doesn't work for special 3s, but the force field takes 90% of the damage. And this also works for debuffs, like suicides, which I'll talk about. You get physical and energy resistance, and the force field basically, when it goes on cooldown, when it comes back at full strength. Now, this is very important. There's two aspects we need to focus on in these abilities, and it's invisibility and the vulnerability debuff here. So invisibility, basically, you have to dodge an attack to gain invisibility. There is a cooldown on it, and your invisibility will not be paused when you are bleeding. So you cannot be bleeding if you really want to play her correctly to get the crazy amount of damage output. So you gotta keep that in mind. Like at the start of the fights, when we have suicide zone, we've basically got to wait for the bleed mastery to fall off. When invisible, incoming attacks have a 100% chance to miss, as long as Invisible Woman is not blocking, dodging, as long as Invisible Woman is not blocking or dodging, they'll miss. Critical rating is also increased by 3,700. This is very important. Her base critical rating is about 700, and while she's invisible, she gains 3,700. That's insane. It's almost 4 times her base crit rate. So right here, this is a key part here. Invisibility is unpaused when Invisible Woman blocks an attack, an opponent misses, or an opponent hits Invisible Woman. So basically, while you're invisible, you don't want to take missed hits, blocked hits, or hits, or it'll be unpaused. When invisibility expires, it goes down cooldown for 10 seconds. So basically, to stay invisible, you got to be getting your openings by intercepting and baiting out special attacks. The vulnerability debuff here, this is a very key aspect to building here. Basically, you can only get these when she is invisible. It stacks up to 50, and to get one, you just have to basically dodge an attack, or dex an attack, dexterity. And for each one of these, you gain critical damage rating of 32. Now, keep in mind, these stack up to 50. And one little thing to note here is if they are purified, invisibility expires. So this is not good against champions that can shrug off debuffs. As far as the special attacks go, a special 1, not too crazy unless you're trying to play more defensive. Build Force Field Special 2 is great for getting off crazy amounts of damage, and Special 3 is good for rebuilding and reforming the force field. Now, key aspect here, vulnerability debuff. This stacks up to 50. Now, what did I say earlier? Right here, for each debuff on the opponent, Invisible Woman deals an additional 4%. So you can get 50 debuffs from this vulnerability, and each one deals additional 4% damage. So that gives her an insane damage output. But as soon as invisibility expires, you lose all of your debuffs. So you gotta stay invisible. That's the name of the game, staying invisible. And I'm gonna show you some gameplay of how that works, and just how difficult it is and how stressful it can be. Enjoy the gameplay. Alright guys, so we're back, and the first piece of gameplay we're going to get into is versus Winter Soldier. Now the synergies I brought, these are just kind of, I was like trying to find some good synergies and I couldn't really find any. I just brought some science synergies, and I brought the one thing. They don't really increase the damage output at all. Those don't really mess with the damage output. So, start of the fight here, we've got to wait for our bleed to expire so that our invisibility can be paused. So pretty much just chilling, waiting for that to go away at the start of the fight here. And watch what happens with just her health. So the poison right now, so we're taking 39 damage and we're healing back 38 health. And once the force field comes online, it's gonna take that negative damage from the poison. So now we're only taking 4 damage and we're getting 38 back from willpower. So it's really nice that the force field can take damage from debuffs. Actually, I really like that. Right there, you can see I screwed up and I took a blocked hit, and that turns off my invisibility. So now I have to wait for the cooldown, wait to get invisible, and right here's the combo. So now I'm bleeding again, gotta wait for that to go away. Here's the L3, if you guys want to see that. That's kind of cool. But yeah, basically, so Invisible Woman, man, she has an actual insane amount of possible damage output, but it's extremely stressful to do. Now right here, I noticed that my invisibility is it was paused and it was expiring or something, but it's kind of like half paused. That's why it's kind of not the full thing, but it is still paused right now. So yeah, I need to build up 50 of those vulnerability debuffs. And it's annoying just to build those up. That's 50 dexterities. So there's going to be some matchups. For example, let's say I don't know, but for example, like think of an opponent. Let's say a Spider-Man with a difficult special to evade, a special 1. That can be hard to evade, right? It can be very hard to evade, and if you just take 1 blocked hit, boom, your invisibility is gone. All those debuffs fall off. You have to be playing perfectly. You have to be playing extremely perfect. And if you can play her perfect, you can get handsomely rewarded with the damage output. So alright, I'm gonna try this again. Try to build all the way back up here. So obviously, this gameplay could have been cleaner, but I didn't want to just show a perfect gameplay. I've had better attempts. I want to show this one just to show you how not easy it is to play. I've gotten a perfect kill on the Winter Soldier because it's Winter Soldier. He's easy, but even here, it's still easy to mess up on, and just to take a blocked hit every now and again. So yeah, it's stressful. Stressful is like the perfect word for it. And to always be playing perfect, man, it's not easy. Outside of here, it would be the only thing that would be a little bit easier is the AI, because it's a little easier to intercept on like Alliance War AI or Labyrinth AI because it's more aggressive than Realm of Legends. That's about the only thing though. Like if the opponent has difficult specials, man, it's super annoying. And Winter Soldier, also the good thing about his specials is there's 2 gunshots, so you get 2 vulnerabilities for evading it. You can see 2 dexterity, so you get 2 vulnerabilities. Yeah, so we're trying to get that all the way up to 50. And I could probably take Winter Soldier down in like probably less than 100 hits if I just completely, at the start of the fight, just waited until I had 50 vulnerability buffs and then actually started doing damage. The hit count could be a lot lower, but I just want to show you guys like actually how this works, and it takes a while. It takes a while. So as far as Invisible Woman goes, man, it would be a little impractical in a lot of situations like Alliance War to do something like this because it takes so much time just to. It's like Stark Spidey building up his poise charges, but like times it by 5, like because there's 50 instead of 10. So yeah, man, it's, I don't know. So we're almost up to 50, and we're gonna get off an L2. And you guys are going to see she can hit really hard. So right now you can see that our damage is, so let's see, look at a crit here. So on a 600 hit, we did 600 base damage, and then it dealt an additional like 1200. Right there, that's 1500 light crits, and it's doing 3000 in red. So boom, now we just hit the cap on the vulnerabilities, 50 of these bad boys. And so let's see a medium crit. So 2300 medium crit, and in red it was 4700 damage. So that's about a 7k medium crit from a 4-star. And one thing you guys got to keep in mind is class disadvantage. So boom, look how hard our L2 just hit. That was 15k and then 30k in red. That was about a 75,000 special 2, which is actually really good from a 4-star. Keep in mind, with class disadvantage, Namor hit, I hit about 151k special 2 with him, but that's with class advantage. Keep that in mind. So yeah, he goes down there. It was like 177 hits. Like I said, I could get that a lot lower. We didn't really start playing perfectly until I lost the invis a couple times. So yeah, there's a fight there showcasing it on Winter Soldier. Now I thought, you know, she could be really good in Labyrinth of Legends. Let's see how much damage we can do with the 4-star in the short enrage timer. Now, if we had a 5-star Invisible Woman, if we could get the base attack up to 2000, you can see it says my attack is 2000 there, but that's with suicides and it's inflated. Her base attack was only like 1200, I think. So yeah, if like a 5-star Invisible Woman in Labyrinth could be really good, man. Because in Labyrinth, you know, you have, I believe it's 18 minutes with the long enrage timer. That's plenty of time to build up 50 vulnerability debuffs. But again, you got to play perfect. And if they evade, they touch you once, even on your block, you got to start over, which is super frustrating. So yeah, man. So yeah, here we go. I put on the pre-fight ability, and with or without the pre-fight ability, it increases your damage a bit, but it's not like an insane amount. So it's really, it's nothing too crazy. It only increases it by a bit. So yeah, we're going to be trying to build up 50 of those vulnerability debuffs, and we don't have too long here with the 4-star for a Labyrinth fight, so I'm trying to go quick. You can see we hit a decent L2 right there with only like 15 of those vulnerability debuffs. And man, yeah, in Labyrinth, it's like she could be a really good Labyrinth champ, but again, it'd be very stressful to do this, just because you can lose all the second you lose your invisibility, you gotta start all over, man. So I don't know, it's sort of impractical, but overall I think she's a very cool champion with the way she works, and it's just, you gotta be playing perfect, man. You really gotta play perfect. You can't parry, you can't bait heavies with taking any block damage. Really, to get your ins, you got to be intercepting and really be on top of baiting specials. That's really it. That's the way to get your openings. There is a way to bait heavies without taking blocked hits, but it's not 100% reliable. You can try, but it might take a little while. But yeah, so we're at about 37 now, and the first enrage time, or the first little timer, is starting to run out. So I'm trying to be fast, man. We hit a decent L2 right there. That was some nice damage, because we triggered the passive fury from the shield. If the shield's not up, I don't believe you get the fury. So yeah, the first enrage timer already ticked, and I haven't even gotten to 50 yet, so it's kind of bad. trying to get to 50, still trying to do damage while we're getting there. We're at 46 now, 47, pretty much good enough now, so I'm just kind of trying to play normal at this point, going for some intercepts there. And go for another L2. We didn't trigger the Fury on that one, so it didn't hit nearly as hard. Fury definitely helps out, the passive Fury there. I wasn't really paying attention as I just got, there's so much going on already. I'm just trying to stay invisible. I wasn't paying attention if I had my shield or not in this fight. And yeah, we've done about 10% damage. Still going pretty hard. You can see it on our medium hits. We deal about close to about 2,600. And we're dealing 5k in red, so that's again a 7,500 medium, which is pretty solid, man. Pretty solid from a 4-star champion, but this damage is not easy to obtain, so yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The enrage timer is almost over. I'm trying to get as much damage as possible. I'm trying to get to an L2 and use one more before the fight ends so I can get off the Fury, but yeah, he blocks it here because the final enrage timer has gone through, and he's unstoppable, and he's getting a passive power gain at this point. Fight's over as soon as that second enrage timer expires, and we are dead. But yeah, guys, that's the gameplay and the breakdown on Invisible Woman. Overall, she's a cool champ, but again, impractical. Impractical and stressful are the 2 words I would use to really refer to her damage. We did about, what is that, about 500,000 damage or so. Not too bad, again, from a 4-star champion. I feel like she could be a Labyrinth option, really for longer fights where you can set her up and their specials aren't too difficult to evade, where you know you'll be able to do it, because one little slip up and you gotta start all over again. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it on Invisible Woman. Cool champion, some sweet animations. I kind of like the invisibility aspect and the shield aspect. One thing Cameron said actually about the champion is he wishes that you could still parry while you're invisible. Like if you take a straight up blocked hit, yeah, you lose your invisibility, it gets unpaused. But if you land a successful parry, you stay invisible. I think that would be a very good aspect, because if you could still parry, then I don't know, I just feel like it'd be a little less stressful, a little easier to play. But yeah, this champion's definitely not going to be for everyone. And yeah, guys, that's my review on her. Overall, I think she'd probably make it into about the Titan tier on my playlist. Doesn't quite make God tier just because of how stressful. I mean, I guess maybe she could make God tier with a little robot icon, which means if you play her perfectly, she can be God tier, definitely. But on some fights, you just don't even have the time to really build her up. You get 3 minutes in a Alliance War fight, and it's going to take a while to build her up. So I guess you don't have to build her all the way up. But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. One final thing to mention, I don't think I said, her prestige is actually 10,510. So above 10.5, pretty solid prestige. These days, people are looking for even higher, but yeah, not bad. I'm really excited to see when Mr. Fantastic comes. I hope he gives Sue Storm here a great synergy, and I hope maybe there'll be a synergy with him that lets her parry and keep her invisibility. That'd be a great way to solve it. And hopefully just that final synergy team gives a huge boost to all the Fantastic Four characters. I'm really excited to see it. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, drop a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more content. Peace out.